Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be answering your questions that you asked in the Q&A portion of a video I created about a month and a half ago, asking if you guys have any questions about purchasing fragrances and where to get deals and what to stay away from. So yeah, I'm going to be answering your questions today, so let's go. Also, please excuse that humming. That is my computer, and I usually turn it off when it does that. I need my husband to take a look at it because he built the computer, and whenever it makes weird sounds like that, he always fixes it. Unfortunately, I need the computer on to answer your questions because I film on my phone, so please excuse the humming. In any case, let's get into it. This video might be a little bit long. I'm going to try and answer every single question. If for some reason I've accidentally skipped your question, feel free to remind me in the comment section below. If you guys have any follow-up questions, let me know in the comment section below, or if you guys have any questions just you have that weren't answered, that you thought would be answered, let me know in the comment section below. I will answer all additional questions down there so I don't have to film another video, because it seems kind of silly to have two Q&A videos about this. So jumping into it, the first person that I'm going to answer the question is, again, thank you also to everyone who submitted questions. Your questions were really great, and yeah, so let's get into it. So Valadina, her comment and question is, you should go on live. I actually do Instagram live, and I'm deciding if I want to do Facebook Live, if I want to stick to Instagram. I also thought about maybe doing like Twitch or something. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do that, but I am planning on going out live, and I'm actually thinking about maybe doing some type of podcast thing too. There's a lot of stuff I have in the works that it's not coming out, but live is planned, and if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, the information is below. I do post a lot on Instagram, and I do go on live on Instagram. Just a thought, okay, sorry. Just a thought, but yesterday you mentioned a website where you get the fragrances extremely cheap, but you didn't put it in your description box, so I wanted to know what that or those sites are. I've tried eBay, you'll find a good deal once in a while. Amazon the same, I found at fragrance.com, perfume.com, and fragrancex.com. I find they have better prices than Amazon and eBay. The site I mentioned, which I talked about in my first part of the video, which I'll link below, is Tradesy. I found the best, and I mean the best deals on Tradesy. Thank you for stopping. There's absolutely tremendous, and I give you advice on what to look for, what not to look for, and things like that. I've also found some really great deals on Depop as well, but Tradesy is the place where if you ever hear me talk about getting an amazing deal or things like that, it's from that website. I do find that Amazon's prices are a little bit higher than other places. eBay tends to be touch and go, as you guys know. I don't really like to go to eBay for full bottles. I think it is a much better resource for decants and samples. But I feel like Tradesy is a great place, and then those other websites that you mentioned. Felistavia said, and if I mispronounce any of your usernames, please forgive me. Really appreciate this. Please talk about discounts for imperfect packaging. House of Matriarch used to sell their imperfect items at steep discounts, but they've stopped, question mark in quotes. Are there other brands that still do this, or resellers who do? Where is the best place for discovery sample sets that might be cheaper than getting samples individually? How quickly do samples lose their quality versus getting a bottle? Is 0.7 ml sold at Lucky Scent a reliable representation of full potency? Are there any go-to eBay or Etsy sellers for fragrance you can recommend? Any advice on swaps and places to join for them? Facebook communities. Alright, this is a lot, but this question is really, really good, and some things that I've wanted to touch on in other videos, so I will touch on briefly, but then I'll get into it more in videos in the future, but I'm definitely going to answer your question in its entirety. The first part is you're specifically referencing House of Matriarch. They actually still do that. In fact, I believe it was Lola Scents bought a bottle from them. I believe it was Albatross a few weeks ago from their scratch and dent section. The thing is she doesn't always have scratch and dents on hand. So if she doesn't have any on hand, you won't even see that area on her website. And they do sell out quite fast. So what I would recommend is if you're looking for scratch and dents specifically from House of Matriarch, check back every week, probably like around Tuesday or Wednesday right before her happy hour sale. But I know she still does that because I went and I was seeing if she had anything that I didn't already own in the scratch and dent section. but I already owned everything, so I didn't need to buy backups of anything. But she still does do that. When it comes down to other resellers, I don't know of anybody specifically who does that. I can't sit here and say this house does it, this house does it, so I can't answer that question. I do think one or two other people have, but I don't remember who they are. So if any of you guys know who those people are or can answer this question better, then please let me know in the comment section below. But House of Matriarch still does that. It's just if she doesn't have any available stock, you won't even see that section on her website. It only pops up when she has things available. So after that, the best place for sample discovery scents that might be cheaper than getting them individually. And when I think of getting samples individually, I think of specifically from the websites or from places like Twisted Lily or Lucky Scent. And I'm going to reference Lucky Scent because it's just really easy for me to pick one, but I'm talking about all those sites. The best place for discovery sets, if it's a more mainstream niche house, like think Atelier d'Orange, Histories des Parfums, Atelier Cologne, things like that, you can actually find really good deals on Amazon. But I recommend going right to the source. Usually if you're going straight from the website that sells them, so if you're looking for Atelier d'Orange, go to Atelier d'Orange, you'll probably get a better deal than buying them on individual websites. The other problem I have with individual websites, and I also get into this a little bit more into your question, is how they send you the samples. And usually you get dabbers and you don't get atomizers. So that's another reason why I would say go to the source. You're probably going to get a better quality form of application to apply your sample, and maybe even get a little bit more than you'd get from one of these other sites that makes the samples themselves. And then how quickly do samples lose their quality versus getting a bottle? Now the thing with samples, depending on how the samples are packaged, is the quality is going to be the same. It's the same juice. It doesn't matter if you're applying it from the bottle or an atomizer. The issue has to do with so much more potency because of evaporation. Fragrances and samples tend to evaporate quicker, so I have a rule of thumb. If I am purchasing samples with the express purpose to sample it, to purchase a bottle, I have to use through that sample within 2 to 3 months, and 3 months is kind of pushing it. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to have a really good idea of how that sample wears because it might have evaporated and changed the consistency of the fragrance and the balance and all that jazz. Now, some people agree with that, some people don't. That's just how I take it. If I'm buying samples for fun, just to try a variety of different things, because this looks interesting and I want to wear this and this looks fun, I don't really care. I'll hold on to samples for a very long time. But when it comes down to actually purchasing a bottle for a sample, I would say stick within the 2 to 3 month period the most. Probably sample it for a few weeks, decide if it's something you want, and then purchase it or don't purchase it depending on if you liked it. Now again, it's the same juice in there. It really doesn't matter. And so this is kind of going to bleed into the other question, or the next question you asked is a 0.7 ml sold at Lucky Scent a reliable representation of full potency? The issue with this is going back to application. You get dabbers from Lucky Scent. In fact, the only time I ever didn't get a dabber was during the city exclusive Le Labo event a few years ago, and I ordered a whole bunch of Le Labo samples, and they came to me in the Le Labo atomizers, which I was very excited for. Because to some way, I don't think that dabbing and slathering on you know, fragrances like you're a piece of toast and you're just trying to put the butter on it and, you know, get it all delicious. I'm not a piece of toast, and it works much better as a spray. You get a better idea of it. Lasts longer, it smells better, it works the way it's intended to work. If the bottle of fragrance that you purchase comes with an atomizer, you should probably apply it as a sample the way that the full bottle would be, because that's how it was designed. Now the only time I don't mind an atomizer if it's a perfume oil or a really strong extract. But generally I prefer an atomizer, which is the issue I have with Lucky Scent. So it doesn't have to do with the amount that you get, it has to do with how you apply it. Now 0.7 mils I think you generally get, depending on how much you would generally put on, If it's one of those fragrances that's really strong, that might last you a few weeks. Or if it's a fragrance that you might need to apply a lot of or has a low longevity and so you need to reapply, it might only last you a few days. So it completely depends on the fragrance. But again, the issue when it comes down to a reliable representation has more to do with the application than the amount. Your next question, or next part of your question is, are there any go-to eBay or Etsy sellers for fragrances you recommend? eBay, again, I don't have any sellers that I really can stand behind. Everyone I purchase from has been really great, but I do it so sporadically on eBay that I can't really say this person, or this person. But for Etsy, I wouldn't go to Etsy for decants or samples. I would go for indie brands. There's actually a wealth of really fantastic indie fragrance houses that are established on Etsy. Cinis Labs, RavensCourt Apothecary, Deconstructed Eden, to name a few. Is a fantastic resource to try out some indie brands. Their stuff is usually high quality and also priced accordingly, so you can find some really great deals on some really great scents. So I'm going to list and link some of my favorite Etsy sellers below that I have purchased fragrances from, so I can stand behind these. Sometimes I've just purchased samples, sometimes I've purchased bath items from them and not a fragrance, but these are all sellers that I think are really great and just worth checking out. If you're looking for indie fragrances on Etsy, definitely check them out below. But when it comes to like decants and resellers and things like that, I would probably stick to places like Tradesy or consignment places that sell luxury beauty items, and then also gray market sites. Rhea asks, I'd like to know when the best time is to buy fragrances. I think it's probably around Black Friday or after Christmas and Boxing Day, right? I'm not sure. I've literally just gotten into fragrances and sampling. Well, welcome to this money tar pit that is fragrance collecting. It is a very rewarding hobby, but it is also very expensive. So this is a great question. Now, there are 2 times of year that I think are the best times to buy fragrances. Most definitely around Black Friday and the holiday season. So let's say end of November, beginning of January, around that time. There are a lot of sales, there's a lot of gifts with purchase, and there's a lot of variety as well. Sometimes you can buy one, get one things. There's just so many different ways that you can purchase fragrances around that time. That's also around the time that Sephora has their VIB sale, and they've actually been really good at getting a lot of niche fragrances. I know that they have Tom Ford, Le Bradillon, Histoire des Parfums, Erin, Atelier Cologne. I believe they have L'Artisan Parfumé. They also, I think, just got by Guerlain. I mean, like, so like 20% off if you're a VIB Rouge or 15% off is great. The other best time, and this might seem pretty obvious actually, is around Mother's Day and Father's Day. That's when a lot of around that time, the springtime, sometimes websites will have spring cleaning sales. They will have Mother's Day sales. That's the other time where Sephora has their sale. And it's also just a fantastic time to get gifts with purchase. And I really think gifts with purchase are great, specifically when it comes down to fragrance, because a lot of times they're ridiculously generous. So I would say around the springtime, around Mother's Day, Father's Day, and again around the holidays is the best time. Anna Setterberg said, you mentioned buying from Facebook groups. Which ones do you recommend? Thanks a lot. I linked, or I mentioned them in the last video, so I'm just going to again go check out that video. You don't even have to watch the video. You can pause it and go straight to the description box. All of those places are just places I like to frequent on Facebook, and I believe 1 or 2 of them are specifically really good when it comes to swaps and selling. So definitely check out that video. Again, you don't even have to watch it, just go straight to the description box. eDreams in Color has a variety of different questions, so this will be fun. Their comment is there a dollar amount you won't spend on a fragrance? A while back you were downsizing your collection, but since you've purchased a ton of fragrances, what happens? What's your favorite fragrance that you own? Is there a perfume that you want but can't find? What fragrance has surprised you the most because it was better than expected? Or 2, because it sucks. So it's like a 2-parter. Has YouTube affected your taste in fragrance? What do you enjoy most about Fragcom and the least? This is a very involved question. Some of these are quite dangerous, but I will answer them. First is there a dollar amount you want to spend on a fragrance? Absolutely not. The thing that keeps me from spending more money on fragrances is my budget and relative funds I have in my bank account. If I had more money and there was a fragrance I absolutely loved, then I would definitely buy it. I'm going to give you an example. I will be reviewing this fragrance in the future. I'm going to be buying a decant of it so I can wear it a lot more, so I can really dive into this scent. Because you know those lists where they say the top 10 most expensive fragrances in the world, and the bottles are made of gold and diamonds and that's why they're expensive? I want to know what juice is the most expensive. And one of the most expensive juices is from Raja, of course, and it's Hot Luxe, or it's Hot Luxe. I have sampled this scent and I've smelled it on me and other people, and I just floored by this fragrance. Some people appreciate Raja, some people don't. I think everybody is correct, but with this specific fragrance, there was something about it that was absolutely magical. And I was like smelling it, trying to convince myself that this was not worth the amount of money that it is priced at. But I kept smelling it and being like, man, I wish I had $3,500 lying around to buy this. Yes, it is a $3,500 bottle of perfume and it's so expensive. Oh my goodness, but it smells beautiful. And I'm going to be reviewing it and I'm going to be digging into it because I think that is a fragrance I need to remove my bias from completely, but I do want to talk about a variety of different fragrances, luxury, high-end, and more affordable, and this is just one I've really wanted to cover. The decant I want to buy is though very expensive, so ultimately that is one I would buy if I had the money. So it really isn't a matter of the price of the fragrance, it's if I like the fragrance, if I think the fragrance smells a justifiable way that it would cost that amount of money. If it's enough juice, is it a limited edition, is it a rare scent? There's a lot of things that go into it, but most of the time, like, I am just one of those people where I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. If I had the money, I'll spend it. So if I had the money, I would spend it. So there really is no number. But I do have, like, in my head when it comes down to purchasing something right away, or maybe waiting on it, or purchasing decants, that value is about $200 to $250. If it's under $200, I'd probably buy like 10 different things and like not even think about it. But if it's like $225, I'm like, maybe I should wait. Like, it's just a weird number in my head, but generally the answer is no. A while back you were downsizing your collection, but since you've purchased a ton of fragrances, what happened? I am still downsizing. I have a Depop where I sell fragrances that I don't wear that much anymore. If anything is in my collection, I generally love them. It's just I have so many things and there's just things that I don't reach for and they deserve happy homes. I am still downsizing so that I have room for new things because I don't have physical room in my cabinet. Like, they're on the floor. My cat's knocked over my bottle of Angel Muse. It didn't break, but I lost the cap and I really want to wear that fragrance and I've been searching for the cap and I need to contact them and see if I can get another cap. So my thought is I need to have a room to put these safely because my cats are monsters. So that is why I am downsizing, and that are curating. I like to say it, to me it sounds nicer. But I'm doing that so I have room for new things. So yeah, I'm still doing that. I know it doesn't make any sense, I'm bizarre, but you know, what can I say? What's your favorite fragrance that you own? This is hard. Specifically recently with the addition to She to my collection, because that was something that was very special. It's something I've been working on with Christy for a very long time. And specifically, like, if you guys are wondering, I didn't like co-create that with her. She created that. It was inspired by me, which I was very honored by, and I had a little bit of input of what I'd like to see and where I'd like it to go and how, like smokiness, like Lapsang Souchong, really would love the vanilla and things like that. That was completely her creation, but the input in it and the fact that it was inspired by me and the fact that I absolutely love it, that fragrance is so special. So that's in on tier of its own. That's something I never thought would happen. So I would almost have to say She, but that is such a traditional, like, of course she's gonna say that one. But the other fragrance to me that is just really, really special, that is a favorite in my collection, smell-wise and nostalgia-wise, really has to go to Maison Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Universalis Forte. That is the fragrance I wore at my wedding. It's absolutely beautiful, and it just has a holds a very special place in my heart. And if my husband and I ever divorced, I mean, who knows where lives lead, I would never be able to even look at that bottle without bursting into tears. So that is a very special fragrance. So I'm gonna have to say those two. Even though you asked for one. Those two. And is there a perfume that you want but can't find? Yes, and I blame Smurfy Girly for this. Iris Ganache. Oh my gosh. I want that scent. I found it someplace. And I'm not going to say where because I don't know if it's still available or not, but it's like 3 times the price of what it would be if I could fly to London, buy a bottle, and fly back for the cost of this bottle, but they might not have it in London. Like, it's so weird. But Iris Ganache, want so badly. So blame Smurfy Girly for that. So yeah, that is one that I'll probably never get to try, but I really, really want to. And what fragrance has surprised you the most? Well, are you talking about, okay, so this is where you're talking about because it was better than expected and because it sucked. So better than expected, the one that really recently specifically completely caught me off guard and absolutely was in love with was Infusion d'Iris from Prada. I expected to really like this fragrance. I didn't expect to be obsessed with this fragrance. It is absolutely stunning. Now I am talking about the 2015 formulation. I haven't had the opportunity to try the earlier formulation, so if you guys are wondering, I know that there's 2 different versions out there, but it is so freakishly beautiful, like perfection. So definitely that one. And which one? Because it sucked. Now you guys know I love Demeter. It is one of my favorite fragrance houses. It's affordable, accessible, it's fun. The fragrances are generally really high quality, and again, the price is unbeatable. However, one of my favorite notes in fragrances is black pepper, and what I like about Demeter is the ability to layer. They really stress that. So they had a black pepper and I was like, yes, of course I'm gonna get that. I think it was a gift with purchase. They're very generous with gift with purchases, and it was black pepper and I was like, this is perfect. I'll get this stuff and I'll make it to wear, I think it's like you spend $35 and they give you a free like 1 ounce. And black pepper came, I was so freaking excited, and it was rancid bug spray on my skin. And people really love this scent. So I don't know if there's something about my skin that's pulling it, but I am talking like scrubber, like nauseous. My husband actually really liked it on me, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Oh, I could not stand it. And you guys know I am very forgiving with fragrances. I'm like, this is conceptual. I just could not. I scrubbed it off my skin. I gave it to a friend who actually really enjoyed it. That just blew me away with how horrible it smelled on me. I tried layering it with other things. It never worked. I tried everything. So that definitely surprised me. If I had the opportunity to wear 2 spritzes of black pepper or 5 spritzes of Secretions Magnifiques, I would choose Secretions Magnifiques every single time. Never would I wear black pepper, and that's how bad it smelled on me. Now, I'm pretty sure it smells amazing on other people, just on me it smelled like rancid bug spray, like poison, just no. And here's more questions. Has YouTube affected your taste in fragrance? Yes and no, actually. My taste in fragrance has always grown and changed. I think what YouTube has done is help accelerate my tastes, giving me more accessibility to other fragrances and houses, and that is a huge blessing because of you guys. So as always, I'm always going to thank you guys for the opportunities you guys have provided to me, being able to try these houses, being set different sample sets, and just having the opportunity and a lot of doors open to me has really helped expand my tastes. But I would still go in those same directions anyway. It's not like I like this hype beast or I like this or this or this. I think that what it's done is it hasn't really changed my taste, but has accelerated the growth of my nose and my experience. So thank you guys for that. It's been really exciting and fun. And what do you enjoy? Hold on, I went to sleep. Okay, it is awake now. Good morning. What do you enjoy most about FragCom and the least? This is the dangerous question. So what I enjoy most is kind of what I also enjoy the least, and it's the community. What I mean by the least is the drama that can come up. And before you go all crazy with this, there's drama in every community. It doesn't matter. You can go to a wedding, you can go to a family picnic or a barbecue on the beach, and there's an opportunity for there to be drama. It is everywhere. It does not matter. If there's more than 3 people, or if there's 3 people, there's an fragrance community is prone to drama. It's going to happen, especially when a lot of egos are in place, and I don't like that. But what I have noticed is how quickly we move past it, which is why I really love it. Specifically within the YouTube community, and this is the people that are very active. And I'm not even so much talking about just the reviewers, it's all of you guys that comment on everybody's videos, and I mean everybody's videos. It's just really awesome to see that there might be a little bit like of this Patreon drama or this drama over here of buying subs and things like that, and it gets resolved, people forget about it, and they move on, and they're really focusing on what the core and heart of this community is, which is fragrance. So yeah, there's egos here, there's issues there, but and that's what I don't like about it. What I do like about it is how quickly we realize that's not important. What we're really here is to celebrate fragrance and just really enjoying it and sharing our passion. So that's what I love most about the fragrance community, is how quickly we realize that it's all silly and we're just really here to just enjoy fragrances. So that is what I love the most. Next question is from Jada Edwards, and if you don't know her, she has a fantastic channel called the Perfume Geek. Check it out on YouTube. And her question is, my question would be learning about other places than eBay or FragranceNet to get deals. I've heard of Poshmark, but don't know how to search it. Also, how to find perfumes such as estate sales. Thanks for any info you can share. Real quick, I'm going to nip this in the bud. I am not the person to talk to about estate sales, so I am going to be unable to answer your question. I'm not even going to try. I don't even know where to push you in the right direction. I just am not good at that, so I am very sorry I cannot answer that part of your question. Well, learning about other places than eBay or FragranceNet to get deals, look for Google searches. I think that's a great way to find things. That's how I found Tradesy. I found Tradesy because I was looking for a specific, I think it was a less exclusive from Chanel de Toilette, and they had it there, and I went there, and then it just kind of opened this doorway to me, and it's just been fantastic. So Google search, but be very discerning, you know, don't trust anybody, let them earn your trust and your money. But definitely, like, just go out and search. It's like a treasure hunt. It's actually kind of fun. When it comes down for going through Poshmark and Depop and sites like that, and also Tradesy, you really have to be specific. They are completely saturated with thousands, if not tens of thousands of fragrances. And a lot of them, and I'm not knocking these types of fragrance, but if you're going to these sites, you're probably looking for ultra deals. They have a lot of Victoria's Secret fragrances, a lot of body mist, a lot of Bath & Body Works, and things like that. And those scents are gorgeous, and you can find amazing deals on those. But if you're looking for like the Kilian, the Creed, the Le Labo, the Atelier Cologne, you really have to be specific, because sometimes people don't know how to market those on those websites. They might say citrus perfume and misspell it. You really have to look. So the best thing to do is to find a fragrance specifically that you're looking for, maybe have a list of fragrances and just kind of like look through keywords and different sections and things like that. You do have to be specific. It is kind of finding a needle in a haystack, but it's a pretty beautiful needle and it's worth the effort. And then again, going back to, I'm not going to answer the question on estate sales because I will give you misinformation, and that is not what this video is about. Shannon Sand asked 3 questions, so thank you so much for your questions, Miss Sand. Thanks for making this video. You are welcome. And your first question is, what's the longest you ever waited to purchase a fragrance? And I'm still waiting to purchase Melody de l'Amour from Tacita. That is one of the most gorgeous fragrances I've ever smelled in my life, and I just keep putting it off, and I don't know why. I think if I could go into a store and buy it, I would have already bought it like over a year ago. But when it comes down to purchasing things online, I don't have that instant gratification. So I'm kind of a little bit more like, oh, I'll put this off, I'll get this later, I'll get this later. But currently it's been about a year and a half, and it's still going. And I need it, it's beautiful. How do you know when to pull the trigger on a fragrance? There's a variety of different things. It has to do with availability. Is this something I can easily get at a discount or full price? If it is, I can wait. If it's an amazing discount, an amazing deal, or a hard to find fragrance, I purchase it immediately. If I walk into a store and I smell it and I have an immediate reaction of this is amazing, I know right then. And also if I'm sampling something on my skin and I walk around and I find myself just subconsciously, I have numbers on my, please forgive my notebook. If I keep sniffing my hand, I just, not even thinking about it, I'm like, I will usually like go right back to the store and buy it. So there's a variety of different things, but I also talk myself out of a lot, and that, it doesn't seem like that. I know when you look at my hauls, it doesn't sound like, or doesn't seem like I talk myself out of a lot, but I do. Promise I do. And how have you decided to curate your fragrance, narrow down your collection? This is hard because anything in my collection that I have a full bottle of, besides anything that was, any full bottle that was given to me to review, I have a really hard time even giving those away to friends and family. I mean, I'll give them to my mom or my sister, but because they were sent to me and it was a really nice gesture, I have a hard time getting rid of them. So I have to make harder decisions about other fragrances, and I think I'm just gonna have to get over that and figure out what to do with those bottles, because I do love them, I just don't wear them. But for me, it has to come down with, why do I have this fragrance in my collection and why don't I wear it? If it's one of those conceptual, hard to wear fragrances that I love, that I only reach for maybe once or twice a year, for me that's more justified having it and not wearing it. But if in the case of, like, say, vanilla, it was the first kind of chopping block thing I did, I had so many vanilla fragrances and I was really only reaching for one or two of them. Same thing with amber. And I just thought to myself, there's this one definitive amber scent I really, really want. This one vanilla scent I really, really want. And once I get that, I'm not going to wear these at all, even though I enjoy them and they're really good. So I'm just going to get rid of them to have the space. Recently, I actually just sold a bottle of Francis Kirkjohn. I know, I collect Francis Kirkjohn, but I was out of space, and it was the Cologne Pour La Soir. It was the big one. And the reason why I sold that is, although it is light and perfect for my environment, even though Grand Soir is a little bit heavier and harder to wear, I enjoy wearing that one more. So I didn't have room, and somebody I knew was really interested in trying it, and it just made sense for me to sell it. So it depends. It really depends on a variety of different things. And it's going to be a point where I'm going to have to make even harder decisions coming up. But yeah, I don't know if that's the correct answer to your question, but that's the one I can give you. It completely depends on the situation, but you definitely do that. If you don't have the funds, or if you don't care about any of that stuff, do whatever makes you happy and do whatever works for you and your environment. I'm not going to say do this way or that way. I just find that there are really good reasons to go the route of paying full price. At least I found them to be. But again, everybody is different. This question is from Lara Anderson. Looking for a best place to buy samples cheaply, especially niche fragrances. Lucky Scent and Indie Scents get expensive very quickly. Yes, they do. And eBay has some lots that are good, but individual samples are even more expensive than specific house websites, or the two I mentioned. Also, the best places to swap for fragrances now that MUA has shut it down. I went to the MUA swap Facebook group and they seem to be mostly selling. I don't have any experience with those, so I'm not going to answer that last part of your question. I'm really sorry. But if you want to find a great place for swaps, I actually really like Base Notes and Fragrantica. They have swap areas, and I think also in Base Notes they have a free to a good home where people might have samples that are just lying around, and they'll either ship it to you for free or you pay for shipping, which might be $2 or $3, but you'll get a lot of samples. It depends completely on each individual person, but definitely check out those websites. That's probably the best place I would recommend. When it comes down to buy samples cheaply, especially niche fragrances, have you tried contacting the houses directly? A lot of times I find houses really want to get their fragrances out there, get people trying their fragrances, get people talking about their fragrances. Now, you might be able to say, I don't have like $15 for this discovery set, but they only sell it in discovery scent. You might be able to get them to send you 1 or 2 fragrances. I know sometimes if you contact Creed, sometimes they'll send you free fragrances. If you contact a sales associate from a specific department store, a lot of times they'll give you free fragrances. So I mean, a lot of people I've heard say contact the stores in New York, like the fragrance counters in New York, they will send you everything. I find the best way to get niche samples not from Lucky Scent or Indie Scent is to go directly to the source. Also, Lucky Scent has sample packs, which if you're not looking for anything specific but you just want to have a wide variety of things to try, that's also great too. But I would say go directly to the source. It's usually the best way to find a really good deal, or also try contacting some of the fragrance counters in the larger department stores in like New York or big cities. Usually they're like, yeah, sure, we'll send you a whole bunch of things, please buy. But again, I'm not really speaking from complete experience, but that's what I've heard through the grapevine that works really well. Next up is Corbin. What Facebook groups do you buy fragrances from? I already answered that question. Video below. You have more fragrances than days in a year? Yes, I do. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do. So it means that some of them won't be used at all during any given year, probably more than just a few, since you probably use some that you love a lot more often. How much is too much? I'm asking because I relate, not because I'm judging. Feel free to judge. Yeah, you can judge me on my fragrance collection. That's fine. I think I'm open to that. And also, do you know any other fragrances similar to Midnight Poison aside from Al by YSL? No, but I would love to know more because it's a beautiful scent. Alright, so the Facebook group I've answered, so it means that some of them won't get more fragrances in a year. That's part of the reason why I'm curating my collection. But for me, I like having a variety. I like to envision myself, and I actually do this sometimes. This is where you can judge me. Judge away. But to me, it's like I'm a dragon sitting on my treasure, and you know, like, if you take like one little coin from me, even though I'm sitting on like tens of thousands, I'm just like, no, it's mine. Like, I'm kind of a hoarder. It's not a good thing. But when it comes down to fragrances, I'm not just collecting them to wear. It actually has to come down with collecting to collect. I collect art, I collect specific types of jewelry, I collect handbags, although I whittled down my collection to like a third. I'm very proud of that, by the way. And so for me, collecting, it's like I'm collecting a piece of olfactive art. So even if I don't wear it all the time, I like having it because I feel like it rounds out my collection. It makes me feel like a more competent, happy dragon rather than a dragon that's missing out on treasure. I know, silly, silly, silly. But it isn't just about wearing them. Wearing fragrance to me is like 2/3 of the reason why I really like fragrances. And so I have the ones I wear the most, but those aren't technically my favorites. It has to do with how fragrances make me feel, why I like this fragrance so much. Is it the nose? Is there a memory associated with it? It gets into a lot more goes into it than just smelling good. So most of the time it is about smelling good. I mean, obviously that's why most of us really like fragrances, but for me it also is from like an artistic side, and so that's kind of like why I have so much, because it's kind of like collecting art that is scented water. It's the best way I can answer that question. I am not a role model when it comes down to purchasing fragrances or collecting fragrances. Do not follow my lead, please. But I do have a specific reason why I collect so much and how and what goes into purchasing things. So that's why I have so much, and I do wear more than most, and I don't know why I can't complete the sentence properly. But my collection is extensive. I mean, it is one of the smaller collections in the YouTube fragrance reviewer community, we'll be real. I mean, some people have like over 1,000 bottles. I think half of them do. They have huge collections. But for me, when it comes down to is I wear 2 a day, sometimes 3 a day. So I do get a lot of wear out of some of them, more than you'd think. But for me, it's not just about wearing, it's about owning and filling holes in a collection. Like, view it as collecting art or collecting trinkets or collecting shoes. Not everyone needs like 20 or 30 different pairs of sneakers, so some people like having the variety even if they don't wear them a lot. It's kind of the same thing. Silly, but that's my thing. This next question is... This next question is from Cindy Frenzel. If you guys do not know, that is my mother. So if you ever see Cindy Frenzel on any of my videos, that is my mom. I love her. I'm trying to get her back on my channel, but she is very shy. So if you want to see my mom back on my channel, let me know. But she is, I want to ask all the questions about all the perfumes. And she does. She does. All the time. In fact, if we're having breakfast with my husband, like the three of us, like we're just talking about fragrance and my husband's just like, ugh, ugh. So she does ask all the questions about all the perfumes. And the fact that she's not asking a specific one right now is kind of silly. Maureen Allen asks, what do you think of Nest fragrances? I don't think I've ever heard you mention them. There aren't a lot of reviews for that brand. Do you know if there's a reason why? I like and dislike Nest. There's some of them that just completely blew me away. Specifically Black Tulip is really, really nice. And some of them just don't, like, excite me. And that's not a bad thing, because I think that there's a very specific, like, to me, there's a specific person that wears Nest, and I'm not that person. And I think that they have beautiful fragrances for the most part. I really like their packaging. I think that's really pretty with all the florals and things like that. I don't know why more people don't talk about them. I think that we all just kind of get caught up in our favorites. And I think that Nest is a very specific brand for a very specific type of person. And I think most of the time we just kind of like look over it. I have been meaning to do more reviews on Nest. I just keep putting things in front of it. So I can't say why other people have, but I can probably just speculate that other people just probably aren't as excited for it as other houses. It's kind of like if you look at designer fragrances, you see a lot of people talking about Chanel, a lot of people talking about Dior, but you don't see many people talking about like Tory Burch or things like that. It just has to do with who wears the fragrances and if people are really excited for that brand and that line. But I would love to see more people talk about it. If you guys want me to review some Nest fragrances, I have pretty much extensive knowledge on all of them. I don't know why I just don't talk about them, but if it's something you guys would like to see, I'd be more than happy to. And the last question is from Calista Scott, and it doesn't have to do with anything, but a lot of you guys have asked, so I will answer. How is my nephew doing? If you did not know, my little 4-month-old nephew now had open heart surgery a month ago. My sister, my brother-in-law, and him were in the hospital for 2 straight months. I posted a little bit about it. It was really sad, completely sad. And in fact, I was out fragrance shopping with my mom, and I went to one area and she went someplace with my husband, and I got like, my phone was in my pocket on silent, and I picked up my phone just to see where they were because I was gonna go meet up with them. I had like 8 missed calls, you know, just, it was a big, very dramatic, traumatic, kind of stressful time for the whole family. But he is home, he is recovering, he's doing so well. My sister is finally able to see her 2-year-old. She was separated from him for almost 2 straight months. He was staying with, not my mom, but his other grandma, so I didn't get to see him for 2 months. My mom didn't really get to see him because she was sick. It was just, and my sister only got to see him for like twice or 3 times for like an hour each time. It was tough on all of us, specifically my sister, my brother-in-law, and of course their kids, but he is doing so well. He is such a happy baby. And the cute thing is, and I don't know if it's really to say that it's cute, but he has a feeding tube because he's having issues with aspirating. So they're still like, they still have to do swallow tests and things like that. That's the one thing we're still waiting for him to recover from so they can get his feeding tube out. But he was such a little baby when he was born, like he was so teeny. And like he was teeny up until they took him to the hospital, but they had to like fatten him up for surgery. It sounds kind of like nasty to say that, but he is the fattest little thing right now, and it is so cute. I wish he wasn't fat because of the surgery, because that makes me sad. But he is just the cutest, plumpest little thing, and I love him to bits, and I love my other nephew to bits. So he is doing great. The whole family is so much better now. So thanks to everybody who has just been so supportive and asking about him and sending me thoughts and prayers and just words of encouragement. You guys have been amazing, and it's really meant a lot to my family, so thank you so much. So that is the last question. That's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you guys have any follow-up questions or additional questions that I did not answer that you would like to know, I will answer them all in the comment section below. So feel free to let me know. And if you guys like videos like this, let me know. I really enjoy doing Q&As. I think they're a lot of fun, and I have another Q&A coming up. It's going to be out next week, and it's going to be talking about starting a YouTube channel and advice. I will link that video below. I'm seeing if you guys have any questions for that, so if you're interested, check out that video and ask questions there as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, guys, if you like these videos, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me to continue doing videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe because it's free and I'm free. And I put out new videos every Monday through Friday and sometimes on the weekends as well. So always something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy. Have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time. Bye!